Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm a little late on this one, but hey, better late than never. So my buddy here, G Rolla, he picked up the Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Extreme Collector's Edition. I'm not even sure what this is called, but this thing is outrageous. So this just came out, a couple days ago. This is the Big Boy Collector's Edition. Comes with some statues, some extra stuff. Pretty neat, but also at the same time, you gotta be a Rolla, like G Rolla here, to be able to grab one of these. This thing was, I believe the retail on it was 200 bucks. So that's a little pricey for a collector's edition. But, sometimes, these collector's editions, the price is not justified with what you get. Sometimes they are. So this one, we're taking a look. We want to see, was this worth the $200 price tag for the collectibles that are contained within it? So you obviously see this thing is a big box, packaged really well. The styrofoam insert, I don't know what kind of material that is, but it's got a different look to it. It's not your standard cheap styrofoam. And once he gets this out of here, you do see that they have the logo printed into the side of the styrofoam. I thought that was a neat touch. Maybe not 100% necessary, but because who's really going to be looking at the inside packaging? As you can see here, it looks cool. That's pretty awesome. But maybe if they didn't etch all that into the side of the styrofoam, maybe they could have knocked a few bucks off of this. I don't know. But it's still neat regardless of what you got to say. I used to be really big into getting these kind of collector's editions, but maybe it came with age. Maybe it came with saying, you know what, I have too much stuff, but I kind of stopped doing it. If it comes with figures or little booklets or CDs, especially CDs nowadays, my car doesn't even have a CD player in it, so I can't even, where am I going to use a CD at? But a lot of times, I don't, for me, I'm not into this kind of stuff as much anymore. I just want the game, unless it's something like super cool or something that's really useful. But if you're a collector, like G Rolla here, he loves this kind of stuff and he'll collect these kind of items. That's awesome. But if you're not into it and you're just like, hey, I think it's kind of cool, but it's not something, you're going to display or really do anything with, and maybe you don't want to spend $200 for the collector's edition. Maybe you just want to spend the standard 60 bucks and just buy the game. But like I said, I'm not knocking anybody because I used to really be into this kind of stuff, and I think it's cool, when a buddy of mine brings over a collector's edition to let me peep it out and film it. Hey, I'm going to get some enjoyment out of that and take a look. And just kind of, look at it and be like, wow, this is pretty awesome, but I just don't have the kind of money to buy this, if you know what I'm saying. But this thing right here, this little infinity stones or whatever, they look like little Easter eggs. It's that kind of thing where, I know I've heard other people knocking it for that. You can't even remove them or anything. They just sit in there like, really, what are you going to do with this? It takes 3 AAAs. At first, we didn't realize the box actually has 3 AAAs in it. But right now, while he's unpacking everything, I went and grabbed, 3 AAAs to put in this bad boy so we could see what it actually does. But yeah, it's just, the little infinity stones or whatever they're called. That's probably the more lackluster piece in this collector's edition. But as you're seeing, Captain Marvel here, these are nice figures for you to display. I used to have a couple nice little glass cases that I would display like anime figures or collectibles and stuff like that in. And this is the kind of stuff that would look perfect in that. A lot of times these size little, statues, especially resin statues, these are, some kind of plastic, but they do look really nice, and they're they didn't skimp on them in the sense that the paint looks sloppy or anything like that. But a lot of times these size statues, regardless of, if they're resin or plastic, are typically pretty pricey. So, you know, you get 4 of them. And here, okay, we got the batteries in the Easter egg box. So you see, you turn it on. There's no music or sound effects or anything. The Easter eggs glow, essentially. That's all she does. So turning it on, a little switch on the bottom. It looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It looks cool, but it's, you know, a little lackluster. They do look like Easter egg shells, essentially. So, you know, what are you going to do with that? But like I said, I think the statues are pretty cool. You get Captain Marvel, you get Iron Man, you get X, Mega Man X, the Mega Man X figure, and then you get Chun-Li. And I think they all looked pretty cool. And we'll take a closer look at them in a moment. This is the kind of collectible special edition that I would have been into if I still was collecting like this. You know, like I said earlier, I typically don't anymore, but that's not to say I won't buy a collector's edition. But when it's something like this where it's almost the cost of the system to play on, you know, I just can't do it. I can't justify the cost no matter how awesome the figures look. But, you know, at one point in my life, I would be all over this. Now, you know, if the collector's edition comes with like the DLC, or maybe even like, I think the, what was it? The Zelda Breath of the Wild special edition. The one came with like the carrying case for the Switch. Like if it comes with something like that, I'm all over it now. I just don't have any place to put stuff like this. And, you know, like I said, I stopped collecting these types of collectibles. So for me, it's cool, and I love checking this stuff out, but it's out of my price range as far as the video game goes. But for people who are really into this stuff, and I know a lot of people, I have a lot of friends who still collect stuff like this and display it and keep it nice and neat and not just, you know, throw it in a box or let it get dusty and dirty, you know, actually display it nicely. These are pretty awesome looking statues, figures that came with this collector's edition. And you know, I mean, this is a very limited run on this. They're not going to produce these forever. You know, they'll produce the cartridge. What? That retro in me is coming out. They'll produce the discs for the game for a long while, but you know, collector's editions, especially ones like this that come with so many physical objects, these are very limited. And all they do, especially something like this that you know will be popular, it's just going to increase in value, especially if you didn't open it like we did. But hey, you know, what would be the reason to just leaving it in the box, never checking it out? So I think these are pretty sweet figures, like I said already. And you see the quality is there. It would have been really cool though if they would have had where you could put batteries in them, and like, you know, the Buster on the Mega Man figure. I know he's not Mega Man, but if, you know, the Buster glowed, or like Iron Man's, you know, chest piece glowed or something like that, that would have been pretty cool. But definitely, you know, they didn't cheap out, so I'm not going to say that, hey, thumbs down on this collector's edition. Thumbs down on the Easter eggs for sure, though, but the figures are pretty sweet. And you see in the back, he did get the comic book, and I believe that was a pre-order bonus at GameStop. So that was pretty cool. A lot of times, and I don't want this to be a rant about GameStop, but I don't know how many times I have purchased something that had a pre-order bonus at GameStop and not received my pre-order bonus. It's bonkers, man. It happens, but I'm glad to see that G-Roller here got his pre-order bonus. So guys, I thought it was pretty cool getting to check this stuff out. You know, I'm not privileged enough to go buy these on my own, but when I got a friend who wants to share this with me, I'm very appreciative. So definitely thanks to G-Roller for bringing this by so we can unbox it and get it on tape and, you know, throw the video out there for you guys to see, you know, and give my impressions. Like I said, not for me, but there are a lot of collectors who still buy this kind of stuff. Obviously, they still make it. There's people out there who are going to buy it. Me, I'm too broke to afford something like this. But hey, if I had the money, I think if I was still in that frame of mind where this is something I would get, I would be happy with this. Not the Easter eggs, but the figures for sure are pretty dang cool. I know there were some extra bonuses, you know, with the game, like DLC, I think that you got as well. So that's pretty awesome stuff. So I hope you guys appreciate checking this out. Smash that like button if you could. Really would appreciate that. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And with that said, guys, I will catch y'all next time. Boom!